Are doing well on this wonderful Tuesday. I'm here in the Bisimoto facility in the showroom and really excited about this Tech Tuesday because we have a lot to discuss. And for those of you on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me in this YouTube moment. And for those of you on Instagram, if you haven't followed the Bisimoto YouTube page, please do. When we're done, go in there, subscribe, and we are good to go. Because I do tend to put a lot of good content up on there on a weekly basis. And also I have a podcast set up. So if you prefer to listen to us without seeing things visually, let's say if you're driving, working out, using the loo, traveling, whatever the case may be, by all means, look up Bisimoto in your favorite podcast networks, whether it is Spotify, Podcast, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Anchor, you name it, we are there. Relentless Racing AJ, long time no talk, he says, hello, Relentless Racing. And for those of you who don't know AJ, what a talented engineer, what a great driver, and an amazing instructor. Even this red car right next to me is a center seat Porsche that we built a few years ago with Sam being a good friend who helped with this. And he taught me how to drive this better. He taught me how to be a better racer. That smooth is faster. So thank you so much, AJ, for being a very prominent figure in my life. Hello, James Steventon. Thank you so much for joining. Dapper Daver 710. Good afternoon to you as well. Uncle Elmer, aka Big Elmer. What is up with you, brother? Hopefully you're doing well. Thoughts on the 20,000K markup on the Ioniq 5N? Ridiculous, Motec N. I don't know why, that doesn't come from the manufacturers. That typically comes from the dealerships. And I'm so upset that they tend to do this, but you know what? Because there's a market, because people will pay that, they make it happen. I need to give my friends a call at Hyundai and see what I can do to get my hands on one of those, either permanently or in a temporary fashion for review, because I really want to see what's up with that. Gasket Heads, always a pleasure to see you as well. Thank you so much for joining. Yo, Fair Weather Marketing, thank you for joining this Tech Tuesday on this lovely afternoon that is not dreary and rainy. BC, I love you, says Double Hash Brown from YouTube. Thank you so much. Back at you. Appreciate the kind words. John Jenkins also says, happy to be here this beautiful Tuesday. Thank you for everything you do, BC. Thank you so much. And the best is yet to come. You're the best, BC, says Fedra Linga. Thank you so much for the kind words. Hi, James Stevenson. Appreciate you. Let's link up, says Creednor Nate. Hello, Nate, sir. Let's do that indeed. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful Tuesday. Finally got my first sports car, 2024 Mazda MX-5. You will love that, Zacharias Pap. The MX-5 is really almost on the same vein as the Miata, an amazing vehicle. I've never had so much fun in a car with less than 200 horsepower in the 200 horsepower range as I have with the MX-5. So you will have a blast with that. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I'm curious if you got manual or automatic. Let me know, but take good care of that baby and enjoy significantly. Lewis91 says, hello, BC, you should be on the Joe Rogan's Experience. I've heard that from more than one venue. I wouldn't mind doing that. I don't have contacts with Joe Rogan, but you never know. Maybe sooner or later. Let's make that a goal and see if we can make that happen indeed. Why such demand? Phil 10 New York City, let's talk about that. Tell me what you have in mind and we can explore. BC's the best, says CBR 600 RRS. Thank you for the kind words. I must share with you something very important, CBR. It really isn't just a BC thing. I have a great team here that allows me to do wonderful things. Without my team, I'm really nothing. Seriously, my team is what allows things to happen. It's not a one-man effort. No man is an island. And without the support of all of my teammates here, from Jonathan to Zach to Lindsay, you name it, I just really can't do much without them. So kudos to them. But I appreciate the kind words and nonetheless, CBR 600. Giovanni, CP Motorsports, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you indeed. Have you gotten a hold of a Dark Horse Mustang? No, I have not seen those. I'm familiar with them, but I haven't got a hold firsthand with those. Fairwater Marketing. Bonjour, Stephanization, which brings me to a great topic. Stefan has some really strong insights here on Instagram around the electrification of automobiles, especially what Porsche has done. And that has allowed me the opportunity to do something unique that I haven't done in quite a while, guys. So please bear with me. But I'm going to put on my Do Not Judge Me wig. I have to wear that now because Stephanization, I appreciate your support and your kind words and your insights around, the different, your thoughts on hybridization, on EVs and so on and so forth, on e-fuels. But guys, there's something going on in our community that doesn't sit very well with me. And I want to be able to talk a little bit about that by all means, and that is the fact that in this room where I'm sitting, there's a twin turbo petrol car there. There's an alcohol-based drag car there. There's right here a E85 based twin turbo push to pass center seat Porsche. It's an electrified bus right there. There's my all-wheel drive wagon. I have a lot of variety here that the team and I have put together and made some wonderful things with. And one thing that all these automobiles have in common is that they're designed to steer the soul. They're designed to be fast and really performance oriented. And it doesn't matter what type of propulsion, whether it's carbureted like that car was before, the inside there, whether it's carbureted like the 914 that's next to it, whether it's twin turbo petrol on the one here, twin turbo E85, electrified bus, a twin turbo all-wheel drive sequential gearbox Civic. All of these are really fun cars. Now, what I don't like, and team, I'd love to be able to hear this from you, are individuals who treat electrification like it's some disease. I hear everything from it's gay, which, if I don't think they meant gay as in happy, but if it has to do with sexual orientation, whatever some lady or guy does in their privacy with consensually is their thing, that's fine. It doesn't make them good or bad. It's just their thing. But to hear that electrification is gay or stupid or is destroying the automotive community, I'm here to tell you that it is not. Hot rodding is not dead as we continue to go in the advent of newer technologies. In California, it's more and more difficult to be able to do even cars like this. You can even drive this on the street because in California, even nationwide, it's not legal. But to be able to have a zero emissions vehicle is a great way to go. This morning, I posted something very unique where Porsche has decided for their flagship performance vehicle, the 911, in this case, the 992.2, they've decided to add a hybrid system to it, courtesy of the guys from Rimac. So Mate Rimac put together this wonderful facility out in Europe, and he really pushes the envelope when it comes to electric performance or electric vehicles. And Porsche owns about a 45% stake in his company. And they've taken his technology, which is really forward thinking, and combined it with a flat six turbocharged applications for their 911 flagship vehicle. And then as I posted that as a discussion, I'm getting all kind of nonsense and rubbish from some people just talking so much crap. And so I want to get your thoughts on it. I really think that as a performance community, we should embrace all forms of propulsion, whether it's hydrogen, electric, internal combustion, you name it. The name calling is uncalled for. I don't get it. And then what's even baffling, more baffling, guys, I want to get your insight on this. What's even more baffling are the individuals who speak ill about EVs because of batteries, but okay with hybrids, which also use batteries. So I'm curious to your thoughts indeed, Yep, Giovanni, insights right there in the back, by all means, yes, yes, yes. And I wear this as a do not judge me wig. It's kind of representative of, the judges back in the day and so on and so forth. So I put this on when I'm trying to make a statement of don't judge me for the things that I'm doing. I'm trying to have a lot of fun, do some great things, And like Gasket Head says, stay wild, stay fun. Absolutely. That's what we're trying to do, no matter what the propulsion is, Yes, Turbo Smart HQ, very good friend and technical partner of mine. Yes, the judge is back. Yeah, boy, says Stephanization. Who, by the way, started this, The Authentic Barbershop 28 says, no. He's speaking Igbo, the language from Nigeria, where I'm from. And that's my tribe, is Igbo, and I speak the language quite well. So, dalo, no, dalo. Lindsay's there laughing. I just compliment you, Lindsay, about how it's great to have you as part of the team, and I'm nothing without your support. Let's see here. So, Fuel to Electric says, have a great day, BC. Always appreciate your optimism, knowledge, and support. Let's finally build an electric unique car that will last forever together. Take care. Fuel to Electric, great guys. I had the opportunity to interact with them at SEMA 2023. Great individuals, had a nice booth, had a very nice platform there. That's just amazing. I wouldn't mind doing that Fuel to Electric. Let's make some magic happen. All right, let's see here. So, guys, I'm really curious about your insight indeed, Can I have a free car, says Binos. I don't have the ability to provide free automobiles for people. I can give you maybe a free Hot Wheel, but I can give you a free propulsion automobile. They're kind of very expensive to build, you know? Do you still have the turbocharged J Series Odyssey? Says Double Dash Brown from YouTube. Yes, I do. I do have it. Take the kids from time to time. I probably be driving it this weekend as well. And I have a car show I'm going to in a couple of weeks in Pomona where I'm gonna be driving that as well. So this is actually quite warm, so I'm gonna take this off for now and put my hat back on. And the funny thing, guys, is that we really should get along as a crew, as an entire automotive community. I really look at means of propulsion as almost like music, where everyone has their own tastes. Some people like the rumble, vibrations, anti-lag, all that fun stuff of internal combustion engines. Some people like the whine of a proper performance EV. Some people like the quietness of a regular street-faring EV. Some people like hydrogen. You know, I have a very good friend and client here who comes by with his Toyota-based Mirai, and he loves that indeed. Stefanization says e-fuel, e-fuel, e-fuel. Now here's the thing. The e-fuels, first, are not very cheap. And I know you spend a lot in France where you are for taxes. That's not really the case we have here in the United States. But e-fuels, as they exist in their normal format, tend to have a lower caloric content. And what I mean by that is the energy realized for every measurable amount of volume, the heat generated is not as much as, let's say, what you see in standard fossil fuel that you can get from the pump. So to be able to make it as equal to or even better performing, you have to add an olefin or an oxygenate, which sometimes is not even that great for the environment once again, but at least it gives us the opportunity to keep internal combustion engine vehicles without having to worry too much about using refined crude oil as a means. That's not a renewable resource. I am akin or very partial to alcohol-based fuel. So that's why in my race cars, the Odyssey, they all run an E85. I put them on E100 if I could, but there's these weird taxes in the United States where you can't run on 100% alcohol because it could be consumed. So it's almost like a consumable alcohol. So they add a little bit of gasoline or petrol to make it unconsumable. So 15% of E85 is regular 91. And sometimes with winter blends, it's a little bit more gasoline content. So I'm not completely free of fossil-based fuels. I'm a huge advocate of performance hydrogen. I'm a huge advocate of performance electric vehicles only because they have zero emissions and so on and so forth. And technology around batteries are becoming more and more amazing and more environmentally friendly as time progresses. So I'm pretty excited about that, but I'm curious about your thoughts indeed on how that could happen, you know? Let's see. The Binos, I may have to just remove that. Okay, let's see. He's being quite rude because I won't give him a free call. The jump from internal combustion engine cars, says Josh Brenner, to full electric vehicles seems like too big a leap by manufacturers. Do you think that USA infrastructure can handle that type of electric grid load? So yes, that's a great question. As we sit today, no. If everyone in the United States completely converted from internal combustion to EVs, no, our grid will not handle it. The current charging infrastructure, which continues to improve on a monthly basis, won't be able to handle it. But transition is not far from bad. In my own residence, I do have solar, which allows me to charge my vehicles at will. I do have charging infrastructure here on site, but I tend not to use it or use it very sparingly. I'm really pushing my solar capabilities at home to whereby I physically, even after charging one, will go out, unplug one and plug in the other just to make things happen using solar. So that being said, yeah, I do tend to do that. And yes, I think it's a good thing because think about it, guys, a couple of years ago, in the middle of the COVID epidemic or pandemic, looking outside from my residence, I could clearly see the mountains. There was no smog whatsoever. The air was cleaner. It was really nice. And that's because petrol-based vehicles weren't on the highways in Southern California, and the pollution is pretty bad out here, you know. And I'm not, even though as a chemical engineer, you know, it's kind of what I wanted to study. It's kind of what I studied, but taking crude oil, refining it, and then using that to propel ourselves is pretty archaic in my opinion. So I do like the e-fuel concept. I do love using, you know, biomass as a way to create fuel through alcohol. I love that, but I'm just trying to get a handle on and understand why people are so venomous against performance electric vehicles. That's all I'm concerned about. The punting around, Nissan Leafs, not my big cup of tea, but any of the fun stuff, I'm all about it. Why are people so against it? Kovolt had a comment here. Let me go back and see if I can grab it. Does the K3V have any kind of annoying behaviors or maintenance items you didn't expect? Let me see. Annoying maintenance, not really. The same oil I put in 2019 is still in it to today. Maintenance wise, oh, maybe tires. I do go through tires with that vehicle more than I typically would. And I run RR slicks, which are pretty penny, just to get some good adhesion. So that's pretty much it. I guess with the this totally has nothing to do with its propulsion, but the body of the car is fiberglass, and I tend to get chips a lot because I drive a lot. So I've noticed, and it's quite annoying, all these rock chips all around the car, kind of chipping away at my paint and exposing the white fiberglass underneath. It's quite annoying. But no, nothing abnormal. I don't have to do oil changes like I have to do with the Odyssey van. I don't have to constantly check my coolant system. I don't have to worry about, oh my God, I'm having a lot of fun that I blew my head gasket. I don't have much worries there. I can just point and shoot. I wish it had creature comforts. That's the one thing the Odyssey has that's awesome, that the Odyssey has heating and air conditioning. So that's pretty cool. And power steering, which the K3V doesn't have. But maintenance-wise, nothing at all, Kovolt. And for those of you who do not know Kovolt, he is also a fellow engineer who is building a really cool Corvette that he's electrifying as well. Looking forward to that project as well. Kovolt, I don't know if you're going to Tesla Takeover. My friends from Blink are not going this year. I just heard that this morning. So I'm kind of sad, but maybe I'll make the trek down to San Luis Obispo and then see what's going on in the industry. Okay, let's see here. Don't promote electric performance cars, please, says Abdullah Bino. And do I have to put my wig back on? So I am going to promote it, Abdullah, to your chagrin. And the reason why is not that I have some agenda, or what did someone say to me last week, that I'm trying to get sponsors, so that's why I'm promoting it. Doesn't make sense. Or I'm doing some Bidenomics. So I don't know how people are making this political, but here is my experience, Abdullah Bino. Prior to 2019, I didn't want to have anything to do with EVs at all. I had friends, I had a bank manager friend of mine, David Little, who was at US Bank right down the street up on Philadelphia and Grove, and he'd come here with his Performance Model S. I wouldn't even sit in it. Then David from HQ Engineering builds a lot of cool NSXs. We'll bring them here to tune. He'll pull up in the rear with his, I think he had a P85D as well. I wouldn't sit in it, didn't want anything to do with it. BC, this is fun. Nope. Like, I was really against it. And I would use this platform, the same Tech2sday we're all talking about, to bash and bash and bash EVs. Because just like many of the people who were talking crap to me, I regurgitated what I heard from people, or what I read on forums, or what was sent to me through social networks, how EVs were just horrible for the environment, and EVs were for people who wear hemp sandals, and for tree huggers, and people who didn't want anything to do with performance, and how EVs had no soul, and they're garbage, and they're stupid. I didn't want anything to do with that. I'm a fun guy. I'm the guy with, supercharger setup or a sequential turbocharged setup, shooting flames out the back. I'm doing videos of shooting flames through RWBs and doing all kind of stuff for a twin turbo. I'm shooting flames on this Cayman. I'm doing stuff with all of my cars, the IROC port. That's me. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want anything to do with EVs. Now, something very interesting happened. I had the opportunity to travel to Vegas for the Consumer Electronics Show. That happens about the first, second week of January every year. It's this big show where all the big companies get together in electronics, where there's Sanyo, Sony, Panasonic, even Polaroid is there, and then car manufacturers are there. Porsche is there, Ford is there, Mitsubishi, Hyundai. Companies that typically wouldn't go to SEMA. SEMA, the big show we go to where we show off all our great cars and this aftermarket performance aftermarket, or they wouldn't go to PRI, like companies like Mitsubishi. Toyota on a big stand was there. American Honda was there with a booth that was probably 10 times better than what they had at SEMA. Like a storied building inside the convention center with cars all around it and powertrain equipment and off-road equipment and gardening equipment and motorcycles. And then I had the opportunity to walk around for the first time in about 2017, courtesy of Harman Kardon, who's one of our accounts. By the way, we built a really cool turbocharged Tucson for them with chrome turbos, manual transmissions. I think we made 700 horsepower on that. It was an amazing vehicle. And because of building that for Harman to showcase their wares with sound performance, I had access to the CES show. And I went there, and you know how I've been building cars for Honda for a long time. We talked a little bit about Motec N, talking about the Hyundai Ioniq 5, because he knows I have a relationship with Hyundai Motors America. I built cars for Ford. I've done stuff for TRD. I built all these cars, and I go there, and all my partners are there with bigger booths, bigger budgets, and I didn't even know half the people. I didn't know anyone in these booths, not even half. And what was in those booths? Guess what kind of cars were in those booths? Electric vehicles. They're promoting and pushing electric technology, autonomy, human automotive interfacing, all that fun stuff, right? A little bit of AI. It was pretty cool. And since I really love technology, I was really intrigued by that, but I was kind of also disgusted with the fact that they were all electric. But I felt that if I want to stay in this industry and still be able to work and service these manufacturers, I need to learn this whether I like it or not. And then hence I reluctantly built the gray and pink car. And the first time I drove it, Abdullah, I fell in love. It was faster than cars that made twice the power that I built. It was not laggy at all. It even made all motor feel laggy. It was just amazing. And to top it off, I don't have to jump through hoops for emissions testing. Literally, I just took it to the Bureau of Automotive Repair and they approved it for street-worthy duty. So a car that shouldn't be on the road because it's so ridiculously fast is legal. And just because of and it was like a stock Tesla. It's not, I drove a Model 3 to work today. It was nothing like that. It had this weird sound. And think about it. Once again, Abdullah, I was someone who was against EVs, just hated every minute, didn't want even to sit in one. I built one, and overnight, I just became enthralled by it because of what I experienced. It was just really fast, lots of fun, better connection with the road. I felt like my petrol cars kind of dampened my feeling from tires and braking. It's just everything was heightened. And I just became an advocate. Now, that doesn't mean I hate internal combustion. I love that. I'm surrounded by them here, right? But I have a big appreciation for electric performance. I just do. So to tell me not to promote it is kind of me going against my nature for embracing modern technology and want to have fun going fast. And I talked about the Plaid that Tesla built, which we own one now. And Jonathan helped me. If you go on YouTube, you see some of the videos of what we had that, what we kind of brought that to light. And those cars, if I were to build a street legal, street tire, low 9-second car, it'll cost me more to build one. First, it'll be a very expensive build, but if I built one myself, it'll cost me more than what I would do with a race car. The Plaid is a more cost-effective car to build, or to just have. And I can drive to the track, run 6.0s all day, an 8th mile, run low 9s all day, and drive back home with AC, power steering, you name it. So it's just, guys, you can't shake a stick at the technology. It's really something that is quite amazing, quite unique, Mickey, the mechanic says no sound. And that's the thing, guys, that's not true. If you want to get an idea of how my performance EV sounds, go on YouTube, look up the Bisimoto Porsche electric. There is a sound to it. It's not quiet. I don't know where this is coming from. And Mickey, I used to say the same thing, plus the battery's lifespan and cost to replace. Guys, Mickey, you know how many petrol cars I blew up? Do you know how many cars I've blown up in my life and how much it cost me to repair those things? Do you know how many head gaskets I've blown and had the opportunity to have to spend money? Do you know how expensive it was when you build? So every platform has its pros and cons, So you're saying people, I've experienced it. I'm telling you, Mickey, if we were here 5-6 years ago, I was right there with you talking crap, like didn't want anything to do with it. But I'm asking you guys to have an open mind. Just take a look. And I guess you can't understand until you drive it yourself. It's pretty freaking cool. So guess what? I have a variety of vehicles I have access to. from a 935 perspective, I have the blue one. I drive my EV ones way more because it's just way more fun. And it's not deafening loud, and it's much faster, and I don't have to keep looking out for the cops. It's just a win-win. I love it. I love it indeed, you know? Light is right, Colin Camplin word. And that's another thing, you know, guess what? My K3V weighs 2685, less than my petrol 935 M16. So you're right, I love the lightness as well. It's pretty nice. Duke XXII22, good Duke 22. For those of you that know him, a fellow countryman. He is doing things, just an amazing individual. If you want anything luxury-wise, goods, if you want something like a concierge service, give him just reach out to him. Just a great guy. Love him indeed. Good seeing you, brother. Hopefully you're doing well. Oh, Kovo saying he's not going to touch technology. Really miss Harley High Voltage. I know. Our good friend who put it together is gone. Hopefully they can bring that back together. I'm gonna make some calls and see what I can dig up around Harley High Voltage, you know? With all your projects over the years, if you were to choose one, which is your favorite? That's kind of hard to do because I may have to divide it into appeal. And so what I mean by that is, for example, if I have to think of the most favorite project I built, which was so challenging, lots of blood, sweat, and tears, and till today is my most popular, it is the Odyssey. That thing is just, I can't even drive it anywhere. People lose their minds. It's an amazing vehicle. The first ever kind of van of its type, front wheel drive, performance boosted, manual transmission, straight cut gears, just an amazing car, just fun and pretty reliable. It's the same engine since 2013 that's in it today, and I beat the crap out of it, giving it to media to drive around. It is my most popular. So from a popularity, and we had to build that in 7 weeks, so it was a lot of work. That car is my most favorite. But fast forward today, something that's really changed my life and my perspective and made me grow as a builder. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, lots of learning, and has allowed me to appreciate more technology. I'll say it's the K3V. The pink and gray Gauzy style Kremer 935, that's electric. That thing has really, really opened my eyes to newer technologies, and things are just amazing. So I guess those two would be the most amazing. And then I would say from a racing perspective that really allowed me to push the envelope was the inside. That right there, my drag car. So I kind of have 3 favorite cars I kind of like, all from different perspectives, you know? PK, the second hookage from YouTube, is saying, first time watching your lives, and thank you so much for joining. Always been a fan. Any plans for you to make a Tesla or any EV faster or perform better? So PK, I have. So I did pick up a Plaid, and you may see a video that's up on YouTube where Jonathan and I started doing some baby steps and really being able to improve its performance. Just starting off with things that are pretty straightforward that anyone could do. So, you know, after our interaction today, please go and take a look at the Bisimoto Plaid. You'll see some of the parts that we got from Toyo, from Unplugged Performance, and did our own installations and took it to the track and got some results. Yeah, have by all means. And it's been a very nice road indeed, you know? Okay, let's see here. Moving along. Bouch Bill says, I love combustion engines, but alternative power sources are inevitable, which is true. Electrical hydrogen is just evolution. All this hate logic, and you guys should be in the horses, still be in the horses. You're right. So Bouch Bill, you make a good point. Technology continues to improve no matter what we do, and it will continue to push forward. And let me tell you something. If I got into a performance EV and it was rubbish, it would validate what I wanted to validate for eons, which is like, it's nonsense. But it really wasn't. It's really a lot of fun. It's really awesome. Especially the ones we build where we tend to combine the classic beauty and essence of older vehicles with historical significance with modern technology. You know, I finally have a Porsche 935 that doesn't leak, that starts easily each time. I don't have to warm it up forever. It's pretty awesome. You sit in it, it smells like an old Porsche, feels like an old Porsche, but you get on the pedal and it's just an amazing experience. And did you know that Ferdinand Porsche's first car he ever built was electric? So he's even still paying homage to him. That could be one of the reasons why Porsche Germany allowed our vehicle to be at the Peterson to represent 75 years of Porsche in existence in the We Are Porsche exhibit. So it was an honor to be not only the person there with a 935 that's quite unique and street worthy, but also one that is electrified as well, you know? So I agree, all this hate and logic, it shouldn't be there, hate shouldn't be there. Should we still be using horses? I'm sure that when the automobile came, people were like, oh, what do we do? The roads are meant for this. Or what am I going to do with all the manure? I love the smell of horses. I love the neighing of horses. I love like feeling a warm body under me. It's just, who knows, you know? But look at where we have gone. Technology will continue to improve and it'll get better. When the day comes that we can't have fun with EVs, I just wouldn't care for it at all. Because I want to have fun. I want to go fast, period, you know? MSU15 on YouTube says, BC, my man, got a question, pretty long one. Oh, let's see. So I was thinking about an N54 turbos or Boxster or Mercedes C300 with a W204 or a Porter Eaton M90. What do you think in terms of compatibility and power? It depends. So you want to put N54 turbos on a Boxster. That would be pretty cool, but the W204s are pretty sweet, especially when done right. You couldn't go wrong with either one of those, but because I love mid-engine Porsches, because even this right next to me, the center drive was a Boxster that we started off with, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna lean more towards the P-car concept. I think that's the way to go. And it really makes these Boxsters an amazing automobile. Being forgiving, easy to toss around, mid-engine, and then finally giving it the power closer to a 911. It's like the perfect Porsche. It really is. It's really amazing indeed. You know, it's great. It's great, 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 great. So do it, MSU 15, and let me know your experience. I'd be curious to see how you are faring. Synthetic fuels are the future, says Mickey Theme Chanik. ICE is not going anywhere. Look at the manufacturers losing millions and backtracking on the EVs. Well, guess what? That is kind of really an interesting perspective as well, Mickey. So synthetic fuels are quite expensive. And when they hit the road, yeah, people will use them, but will you invest that much in synthetic fuels? We'll see. I don't think ICEs are going anywhere at all. I don't think they're going to be, just thrown away. Even in California, where they're trying to mandate EVs being the only cars being sold, those are only for new cars. You could still buy used cars that are internal combustion engine. You can still bring cars across the state lines from other states. Not a challenge whatsoever. And guess what? Horses still exist. People still, in my city where I live, there are horses walking around. People still use horses for game and for sport. I foresee, in my opinion, based upon talking to a lot of manufacturers as well, that internal combustion purely may end up being a wealthy man's sport in the not so distant future, And you're saying backtracking? No, people will do what needs to happen in terms of being able to make sales. So with people still being tethered to internal combustion engine, with fuel still being relatively cost effective, people will still buy them. They're not backtracking. As a matter of fact, the wealthiest person on this planet owns Tesla, right? The wealthiest company in terms of automobiles with the biggest volume is BYD in China, and they do EVs. They don't do any internal combustion engines. So that's quite debatable indeed. Talking about CS, says Dom's Garage, do tell. I'm here to talk. And once again, I want you guys to understand that I get it. I get the reluctance to change. I get the fact that internal combustion is be all end all. But I'm telling you guys, is this notion from experiencing it all like I have? Or is it just a bias based on gut or emotion? Because I built one begrudgingly, hated every moment of building this. It ended up being the most expensive car I've ever built to date. To date, that pink and gray EV, the first one, was the most expensive car I've ever built. I had to take a loan out to build that car. Made so many mistakes and I hated every part of it. But when I drove it, the joy I have received made all of those challenges melt away. And it really changed my life. And for those individuals who have been here, clients that we have who have beginners cars, and many of them have driven the K3V, like, oh my God, BC, this is something else. It's almost like we stumbled onto the perfect symbiosis between technology and classic vehicles. It sounds pretty cool. It's really super fast, has zero emissions, you don't stink, it doesn't leak, it doesn't have a head gasket that can blow. It has 700 pound-foot of torque at 1 RPM. It's just freaking amazing. I love it. It's just an amazing, amazing vehicle indeed, So yeah, had a great. Stephanization says lithium ion is dangerous and not eco-friendly, and so is methanol that I use in that, and so is petrol when you sit on a tank of gas. You don't want to inhale fumes of gasoline. known carcinogens, anti-knock agents, whether it's benzene or tetraethyl lead that we use to race and have fun, can all kill you. So that being said, Stephanie, it's not a good enough reason. Plus, I'm using cell phones. I have 3 cell phones in front of me here. I have a phone that we're talking to here on Instagram, phone on YouTube, and also a phone that I'm using to record my podcast. And they all have lithium-ion batteries in them. My laptop I just use for work, they have lithium-ion batteries. So if you're really against that significantly because of the compounds that exist, you shouldn't be using any modern technology, not even a smartwatch, which my smartwatch here also has a lithium-ion battery. And guess what? Unlike laptops, phones, and smartwatches, manufacturers are starting to move towards other user-friendly battery stuff. Solid state, we have more aluminum oxides, aluminum components, and components that are not lithium-based, that are not pouch-based, that are not cylindrical. All that has come to fruition very quickly. There's so many companies that are really exploring those technologies, and not only would allow us to have batteries that are more friendly to the environment, but would have even more density in terms of energy and have more density in terms of power and allow us to have more range with less weight. All that's coming. Imagine comparing today's internal combustion with 100 years ago. Look at what's happened over the course of over a century. So guys, have an open mind. This whole debate of talking crap and also being to some extent hypocritical with it, I think we're above that. We can't use our cell phones to write that we hate lithium ions and we use it. Or talk about cobalt, I get that a lot. Or cobalt used in batteries. Well, cobalt is also used in desulfurization of crude oil. It's used in gasoline. The same cobalt you're complaining about has been used for decades in making sure that crude oil has less sulfur. So it can create less oxides of sulfur that can turn to acid rain. All compounds of combustion, right? Junkyards are going to be stacked with them as they have been with internal combustion. Guys, Nikki, I really appreciate your insight. And I really also appreciate your enthusiasm, but I think it's a little bit misplaced, if you ask me. But, nice try. Plaid is dropping low numbers. Yes, it is, by all means. Let's see here. The Jaeger pilot said, well, BC, my brand of phone made an EV, Xomi. I hear they have the fastest charging phones. Can imagine that transfers to EVs. I'm sure everything else would be left behind. Yes, it's very possible. One thing that China has done, I know it gets a bit of a bad rap here in the US, is that they've really led the charge, see what I did there, with not only phone, but automotive technology. And they're really pulling significantly, if not completely away from the internal combustion. It's allowing them to have even a cleaner environment as well. So that being said, yeah, we're seeing a lot of things changing. We here in the United States, we need to step our game up. I'm doing what I can to be all embracing. And yeah, and what Porsche has done, and I see it as a mixture of knowing what's happening in the future or having a long-term plan, but also allowing enthusiasts to dip their toe in the water of electric performance. So by the 911 being the performance model, which I remember how people raised all type of hell when Porsche went from air-cooled to water-cooled. They had to because of emission standards and also noise regulations. And then people talk crap, but look now, the best of the best Porsches are all water-cooled. And then they got into making, the Boxer, people raised head, went crazy about that. They got into making SUVs with, the Cayenne and the Macan, and people now they're the best-selling cars. Well, now they're starting to introduce that community into electrification by first starting off with a hybrid. Don't be surprised in the near future, especially with the performance that we've seen from their electric Taycan. Don't be surprised when a 911 comes to light that's pure EV, because that car needs to be in the forefront of performance in their line. It's a shame that a four-door sedan is actually beating their best of the best when it comes to their halo vehicle, the 911. So the hybrid is a nice way to introduce the enthusiasts who love 911s into that technology, and don't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if it becomes full EV, sooner or later, They don't pop and bang in exhaust. Yes, if you hear pop and bangs in your EV, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And you like that, that's great. I just would advise you, Stephanization, if you're here in Southern California, because I know you're in France, and you do a pop and bang in front of a peace officer, you would get in big trouble. So that may be a cool hot boy thing to do when you're away, but that's not a legal thing to do here in the United States. Whether it's D-cell pop and bangs or anti-lagging in front of peace officers is really frowned upon. And that's something that I tend not to do a lot of late, as beautiful and cool as it is. But it's not something you can do at will. You can just do it everywhere you like to. But yeah, you cannot do that with an EV. That's one thing that you cannot do. The only people who don't like performance EVs haven't driven one. Dom's Garage, you hit it on the head. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm a muscle car kid and I still love EVs. They're the only car that has torque like a muscle car. And you're right, even more so. I mean, muscle cars are known with the big V8s, and some are going to V10s because I've owned a Viper, which I kind of modeled all of my EVs around. 120 miles on a full tank, 600 plus horsepower, 630, 640 horsepower. That's kind of been my go-to. That's been my kind of benchmark for my EV builds. And yeah, I love it. But the thing is that the torque, my K3V will destroy my 5th gen Viper, destroy it. 0-60 instead of being 3.5 is 206. I mean, when it comes to quarter mile, it will just kill the Viper. It's just an amazing thing. But also the Viper has that nice, that earthy sound, that gurgle, that shifting. It has all that. But it kind of sucks when I'm trying to take off and it's not as instant as EV. It's just something about that. So don't be surprised if I end up building a 5th gen Viper electric. That would give me the looks and the appeal that I love, and the instant torque matching the horsepower that came from factory. That would be really awesome indeed, Let's see here. I'm getting some good comments here from YouTube, which I really like, so I really appreciate you guys. My only concern is longevity. I have an 03 Toyota Fielder, and I'm just wondering if I could keep an EV for that period of time or even longer and still maintain it almost a new performance. Yeah, you could. You could. One thing I've done, and I don't see that with Hyundai because I have a relationship with them and I have also a Kona Electric, which is a lot of fun, is the battery life can be significantly improved if you don't constantly charge it up to 100%. And this is what the team from Tesla says, and I do believe in some extent, but I've also had the Kona since 2021, and we always charge up to 100%, and I've not seen any type of degradation in the battery performance. But yeah, that's not a challenge at all. Just like Kovot asked me a moment ago, have I had any annoying things I had to do in terms of maintenance? I have not at all. None whatsoever, We need more content on YouTube, says MSTU15. I will try my best. I know it's a lot going on. The team and I have, literally, we're here in April. We have 4 cars to finish this, so I don't even have much time to pull away, and it takes a lot of time to create content, but I'll keep doing shorts that I do almost every day. And every week I'll put something up. I promise I do what I can, What is performance EVs, man? Is that EV tuning now? And what is that really? Yes, there is. Absolutely, there is. I wonder if I can show you some. If you guys could excuse me for a quick second. Oh, Lindsay, yes. Could you grab me a VCU 200? Yes. Just one. So, yeah, MSU15 from YouTube. There are performance EVs, and just as the name implies, they're electric vehicles that performance. When people used to attack me, and I'll pull out my wig when that happens on Instagram and say, hey, BC, what the heck, EVs suck, they're quiet, they are no fun, they have no soul. I'm like, guys, it's like comparing internal combustion engine to a stock Corolla. It's like comparing internal combustion engines to a factory Mitsubishi Colt. If I had only drove a Mitsubishi Colt or factory-based Corolla as my gateway to internal combustion, I'm like, these cars suck. They have no torque, they sound funny, the gearboxes suck. If it's manual, it's not that great. If it's automatic, it's even worse. They're horrible, they have no soul. That's what I have. I think this one is open already. They're just like the ones that we have, they're just sitting. And it's like, so why would you compare based upon what you heard, or a Nissan Leaf or a stock Model 3 base? Performance EVs, MSU15 as the name implies, are where you have a swap like you would with an LS, using, let's say, a Tesla large drive unit, or using something from Cascadia, or just using those kind of things and being able to, let's see, so open one up. Okay, take this out of the box. And thank you, Lindsay, thank you so much. And using that to be able to, as a way to show the capabilities of a performance EV. And because you don't have all the crazy sound deadening and whatnot that you may see with, I'm trying to open up this box as we're doing this. As you may see with a factory setup, it's actually quite nice indeed, So this MSU 15 is an ECU known as the VC200. This is one I use quite a bit in my vehicles. This allows you to tune like you would with a Motec or an AM Infinity or Hondata or Flash Pro. This is an engine management solution for electric motors. So, and it's not unique to a particular motor, like it's not a Honda only base one, or let's say a Tesla only base one. It controls a variety of things from Hyper 9s to Cascadias to even unique ones to homemade ones to Teslas. You can use this VCU to do torque management. So you know how you typically tune a setup and you do ignition timing and fueling and boost and so on and so forth. You can do torque management with this, and you can mimic high performance, low performance. You can make it behave like an internal combustion engine with low torque, meeting up to high torque and dropping off again. You can do all of that. You can have 100% of torque at 1 RPM. You can break things with this. You can blow up your motor. You can mess up your inverter. Everything that you can do typically with engine management solutions, you can do with this. So yeah, this is the one. So yes, there are EV tuning capabilities. You also can go on a dyno. You can tune on the street like street tuners do. You can do it all. It's pretty freaking cool. Pretty freaking cool indeed, you know? Kovolt says, can you bug your contacts or at them, let me see, to make an official forum, especially for the AM EV stuff? I feel like having that's a good idea. He said, I feel like having a forum will free them a lot from technical support emails. I agree, and we all can learn from each other, right? I think that's a fantastic idea, Kovolt. I think that's a great thing to do, and let's explore that. Well, based upon that, guys, it's been a slice of heaven. My pleasure indeed, MSU15. This will be up indefinitely here on Instagram. I'll have it uploaded on YouTube. For those of you on Instagram who haven't joined our network, please do. Also, if you prefer something more audible, please by all means, or oral, please by all means, your favorite podcast networks, no matter where it is, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, you name it, Spotify. Just search for Bisimoto. This will come up and you hear it in all its glory. In the meantime, guys, have a pleasant afternoon. See you same time, same place next week. Stay safe. And you know what? Keep an open mind. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I didn't think you'd bring one that was still together because we have open ones just sitting. Yes. So, but it's okay. Here you go. Thank you. I just made a mess. Like, oh, that's bad. I made a mess. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, my pleasure. Because I had a question and I didn't want to get up and leave, and I was hoping you could help me. Of course, I'm here to help. Thank you.